Good morning. Today is Monday, April 5th, 2021, and this is your 5 minutes of Monday morning inspiration. My name is Brandon Page. I'm the lead pastor of West Coast Church, and I've produced this video for you with the goal of doing two things. Number one, to provide you with some practical wisdom for living well that will help you become a top producer. And number two, to do this in under 5 minutes. So last week's 5 minutes of MMI, I started by saying that a definitive marker of all top producing people is that their actions are self-directed. When you study the behavior of today's leading innovators, thought leaders, and virtually any top producer, regardless of their field or organization, you will notice two things about them. Number one, they have a bias for action. That means they tend to do rather than to contemplate. They tend to act rather than to wait around and see what's going to happen. Number two, 90% of the actions that they take are self-directed. So if you're going to maintain your status as a top producer, or you're working to become a top producer in your craft, in your career, in your field, one of the things that you will have to master is the art of being self-directed and leveraging the power of setting self-imposed deadlines. So I like to say this, embracing self-directed deadlines. A self-directed deadline is when you choose a point in time to deliver a positive result on something that you are responsible for producing that is well in advance of the due date. So here's some wisdom for today. I had the pleasure of working with a true sales professional in my last career. I was a national sales director, and our top producing salesman of the year, the last year I was there, had been in sales his entire life. He had been, in various types of outside sales. He had been a sales manager himself, but at this stage in his career, he was kind of hunting big deals, multi-million-dollar big deals that were exciting and fun to be a part of. And he had a saying, and I embraced this saying, working to be an open book. He would say, early in the day, early in the week, early in the month, early in the year. That's the secret to being successful and to producing high-level positive results. I'll say it again. Early in the day, early in the week, early in the month, early in the year. Now, he was taught this saying, he told me, by one of his sales managers years earlier, but he literally practiced this. He practiced what he preached, and the results spoke for themselves. So rather than waiting till the due date or scrambling, like there's a test coming on Friday, and you're scrambling Thursday night to cram for the test. You're supposed to read something, there's a workout coming due, there's a race coming up. I remember one funny story. Years ago, we were competing in bodybuilding events, and it's a really weird environment. So you've gone through all this training and all this dieting, and I was backstage with my weight class, and I was standing there, and the head judge of the NPC in Florida came back. He was a real kind of stern guy, and he came back there, and there was a bunch of young guys literally like with bands and light weights. They were like pumping up, and they were trying to get their muscles full, and they were trying to look their best. And he walked up and he said, "Gentlemen, the time for training is over. It's too late." And they all everyone just kind of stopped and put their stuff down, and he realized, if you're not ready now, you're never going to be ready. And so those people that had prepared were prepared well in advance for that day. I tell that story as a funny story that I never forgot. Here's a scripture for you to think about. In 2 Corinthians chapter 6, verse 2, it says, "For God says, at just the right time I heard you. On the day of salvation I helped you. Indeed, the right time is now, and today is the day of salvation." So how do you know that you're making the shift from being a worker bee drone to operator, manager, owner? You embrace self-imposed deadlines for big projects, and you have kind of a do-it-now mentality. So my encouragement to you today in your goals to becoming more self-directed is to embrace self-directed deadlines. You pick the date to be ready well in advance. This will serve you well, and I think it will help you really go to a new level. I want to thank you for joining me today for this 5 minutes of Monday morning inspiration. If you've enjoyed this video, my ask is that you pass it along to someone you care about. Know that God cares about you, and so do I. And with that, have yourself an awesome Monday.